Speaker Identification Practice. Skit number 1. The Court, we are here today to hear the case of Smith versus Johnson. Let's proceed with opening statements. Plaintiff's Attorney, Your Honor, members of the jury, my client, Mr. Smith, is here today seeking justice for the injuries he suffered due to the negligence of the defendant. Defendant's Attorney, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client, Mrs. Johnson, sympathizes with Mr. Smith's situation, but the evidence will show that she is not liable for the accident. The Court, thank you. We will now hear from the witnesses. The plaintiff, Your Honor, I was driving home from work when Mrs. Johnson's car collided with mine at the intersection. It wasn't my fault. The defendant, Your Honor, I admit I was distracted by my phone, but Mr. Smith was speeding and ran a red light. The mother, Your Honor, I witnessed the accident. Mrs. Johnson's car definitely ran the red light. The father, no, Your Honor, I was at the intersection too, and Mr. Smith was the one who ran the red light. The juror, Your Honor, may I ask a question? The Court, yes, please proceed. The juror, was there any surveillance footage of the accident? The Court, we will check the evidence shortly. The bailiff, Your Honor, here is the surveillance footage as requested. The clerk, Your Honor, the footage clearly shows Mrs. Johnson's car running the red light. The Court, thank you, clerk. Members of the jury, please take note of the evidence presented. Plaintiff, Your Honor, based on the evidence, I believe Mrs. Johnson should be held accountable for her actions. Defendant, Your Honor, I understand Mr. Smith's perspective, but the accident was not entirely my fault. Plaintiff's Attorney, Your Honor, we request that the jury find in favor of Mr. Smith and award him the compensation he deserves. Defendant's Attorney, Your Honor, we urge the jury to consider all the evidence presented, including the fact that Mr. Smith was speeding, and make a fair decision. The Court, members of the jury, you may now deliberate on the case. Skit number 2. The Court, good morning, everyone. We are here today to hear the case of Doe versus Roe. Let's proceed with the opening statements. Plaintiff's Attorney, Your Honor, esteemed members of the jury, my client, Ms. Doe, is seeking justice for the damages she suffered as a result of the defendant's actions. Defendant's Attorney, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client, Mr. Roe, disputes the claims made by Ms. Doe and maintains his innocence in this matter. The Court, thank you. We will now proceed with the presentation of evidence and witness testimonies. The plaintiff, Your Honor, I was walking my dog in the park when Mr. Roe's unleashed dog aggressively attacked mine without any provocation. The defendant, Your Honor, my dog is well trained, and I had him on a leash. It was Ms. Doe's dog that instigated the altercation. The mother, Your Honor, as a witness to the incident, I can confirm that Mr. Roe's dog was the aggressor in this situation. The father, respectfully, Your Honor, I disagree. I was also present at the scene, and it was clear that Ms. Doe's dog was the one behaving aggressively. The juror, Your Honor, may I ask a question? The Court, of course, please proceed. The juror, was there any surveillance footage of the incident? The Court, we will examine the available evidence shortly. The bailiff, Your Honor, here is the surveillance footage as requested. The clerk, Your Honor, the footage supports Ms. Doe's account of the incident. The Court, thank you, clerk. Members of the jury, please consider this evidence in your deliberations. Plaintiff, Your Honor, based on the evidence presented, I believe Mr. Roe should be held responsible for the damages caused by his dog. Defendant, Your Honor, while I sympathize with Ms. Doe's situation, I maintain that my dog was not at fault in this matter. Plaintiff's Attorney, Your Honor, we request that the jury find in favor of Ms. Doe and award appropriate compensation for her losses. Defendant's Attorney, Your Honor, we ask the jury to carefully consider all the evidence presented and come to a fair and just decision in this case.
The court, members of the jury, you may now deliberate on the case.